Do you know the right way to prompt?
Well, I don't know, Eric, do I?
Of course, you can say the most simplest things like create a blog post about AI or prompts that generate images for a supercar, and those will all work. There's nothing wrong with them. But when you use those, are you really getting the best out of the AI that you're using? Today, I'm going to show you the best way to prompt. In fact, I'm going to show you a few different ways.
Oh, yay!
But not only that, I'm also going to show you some ultimate cheat codes.
OMG.
These cheat codes are specifically based on the anatomy of a prompt. But the methods I'm going to share today is going to take your prompting to a whole new level. And so in this video, it's going to contain multiple methods and multiple cheat codes. Everything I'm sharing today will be available via the link in the description. And so for the first method, let's go ahead and just start with what the president of OpenAI, Greg Brockman, shared. Now, as we get a closer look, let's just take a look at this very quickly. You could see it. It's very simple. The anatomy of a prompt. And we're going to have four main sections, okay? We're going to have the goal, the return format, the warnings, and then the context dump. Now, this prompt method, the anatomy of a prompt, actually does work very well. In fact, I'm going to show you some great examples, but remember, we have AI on our side now, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to create the ultimate cheat code by using this exact method, the anatomy of a prompt. And so what I mean by cheat code is that this is going to really impress you. Now, I could look at this right here, and basically, it is going to be helpful to learn how to prompt like this, but again, this is method number one, and we can come in here and basically craft our own by just following these steps, okay? Goal, return format, warnings, etc. But since we have AI, let me show you a shortcut that's going to work wonders. Now, the first thing you want to do is I have this image opened up right here. So I'm in ChatGPT, and what you're going to do is just upload this image in ChatGPT. Let me go ahead and then just start a brand new slate, okay? Now, the first thing you want to do is say something like this. Based on this image about the anatomy of a prompt, please use these guidelines and create a prompt specifically for... And then you would just basically put in your specific subject. So right now, I just said incredibly realistic AI text to images. Okay, I want to get some very realistic looking AI images. However, this can work wonders for any subject. Just replace the subject in the bracket of text. Let me go ahead and show you how this works. So that's the message, but remember, now we have to bring in the image. Drop the image right here of the anatomy of the prompt. There it is. Watch how fast this works. Go ahead and submit this. Now look at this right away. Based on the structure from the image, here's a well-structured prompt for generating incredibly realistic AI text to images. And here it is. Here is the whole entire thing right here where it's giving me all of the main categories. We have the goal, return format, warnings, and then here it is, the context dump. Okay, now we're going to do this on both sides. Now I did this a little bit earlier today. So here is the first one I did, same exact thing. And again, I get the goal, I get the return format, and then here is the context dump right here. And this is what is so incredibly helpful. Again, down here at the bottom, it just says, would you like me to refine any subject further? Okay, we'll do that in a second. But first, let's try both of these, okay? Let's go ahead and copy the whole entire thing right here because remember, this is going to be just basically a template for now, just to see how it all works. When we're done with that, we can come down here and now give it further instruction. Now, this time, I want my subject to be for this specifically, okay? But let's just go ahead and try this in a brand new chat. So with a new window open, there it is right here. This is the anatomy of a prompt based on what ChatGPT just gave me. And then here we have it. Go ahead and now generate this. Okay, so that is a full prompt. Now notice this. It actually gave me a prompt for cyberpunk images. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is, let's just go ahead and test this out just to see. We're gonna copy the whole entire thing. But what if cyberpunk isn't the style I want? That's where down here at the bottom, we're gonna say refine it further, but specifically for this subject. But for now, let's just go ahead and test it out with this specific prompt. So to test these images out, I'm going to come over here into free pick. Now, again, there's that prompt. Let's go ahead and paste the whole entire thing in. It is pretty long. Now, back over in the ChatGPT, let's go ahead and say refine it. And so down here at the bottom, I just said, yes, refine my subject for an editorial style photo, advertisement for a McLaren supercar. Let's go ahead and see what this comes up with. Back over into free pick quickly, and look at this. I'm going to get all of my images. Very, very impressive looking. All turned out very good. Okay, so that was pretty simple. I got my prompt with the anatomy of a prompt, okay? But now back over here in the ChatGPT, now let's see what we're going to get now for that specific supercar. Okay, so here we have it. Here is the whole entire thing right here. I get my goal, my return format, and scrolling down, everything else with my context dump. Now, before I went ahead and copied and pasted this whole entire thing in the free pick, but now we're gonna do something a little bit different, okay? Now, I went ahead and copied all of this. I'm gonna open up a brand new chat in ChatGPT and now paste all of this in. Because again, sometimes I don't wanna paste all of this into an AI art generator. So based off of this, I'm gonna paste this in. So what I'm gonna say is this: please create 5 prompts specifically for this. Now that's going to be important because if I didn't say this right away, it's going to automatically just go ahead and create the image in ChatGPT. But what if I don't want the image? I want actual prompts. Say this sentence right here, okay? Go ahead and generate this. Let's see what this comes up with. And now as we scroll down, it's giving me 5 amazing prompts. The most important things are going to be these very specific keywords: editorial style, soft spotlighting with deep, rich shadows. Okay, so I'll go ahead and generate these images, but that was just actually method number 1 and our first cheat code. But like I said before, you don't actually have to use that cheat code. You can just use this method as a guideline. And here's an example where I did exactly just that. Now I'm over here in my prompt generators database. Now this database is gonna house hundreds of prompt generators, basically prompts that generate prompts. And now this one specifically is AI images color palette plus a color palette creator. Now, if we take a closer look between this and the anatomy of a prompt, you could see how I was able to do this myself following those guidelines exactly, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So here we have these side by side right here, and I'll show you what this prompt actually did. It is amazing, okay? Following the anatomy guidelines. Basically, with my goal, I said right here, I want 10 unique and creative color palettes to use in my prompts when creating amazing looking AI text to images in tools like Midjourney, okay? So there is my first portion. That's gonna be my goal. Okay, now back over here in the anatomy is gonna be my return format, okay? And so you can see I did exactly just that. For each color palette, I want you to also provide me with an example. Okay, so there is my return format. And then I also gave a very quick example right here, okay? So we have a little bit more of a return format where I'm giving it some examples. And now here is my third section. There is the warning. Be careful not to make the prompt too simple. Make sure you really use your creativity and then showcase for incredible realism. Now, last but not least, the context dump. And that's exactly what this is all right here. Here is my context because I'm creating AI images in these platforms. This is what I'm looking for, and then I want you to provide me with 10 color palettes and examples. Now, just to show you that this did do a phenomenal job, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this whole entire color palette prompt just like this. So now back in ChatGPT, I went ahead and pasted the whole entire thing. Now I wanna show you how good of a job this actually does. Watch this, I'll go ahead and generate that. Now right away, it's gonna give me exactly everything that I wanted, okay? 10 prompts with some incredibly unique and stylish color palettes. Now, once it concludes and it gives me 10 amazing prompts, I can then say, do it again. And now this time I'm going to give you a specific subject, because right now it's just basically giving me the color palettes and then choosing its own subject. And when you use something like this, it's going to make some prompt image magic, because these color palettes really do make your images stand out. Check it out right here. For an example, peach blossom, baby blue, soft mint, warm cream. Okay, now let me show you a second cheat code. Now this cheat code really does impress me every single time I use it. Now for this one, we're gonna specifically be using Claude's Anthropic. So Anthropic is actually separate from Claude. And in order to use the Anthropic prompt console, you do have to have a little bit of an allowance. I just gave it $20, and that $20 has been going a very long way. But once you see the capabilities, I think you're going to be very blown away. So what I actually did was I came in here and I just simply selected generate a prompt, okay? Once you do, it's going to open up this dialog box and just say something like this: I need a prompt that will generate the most realistic looking images in the world for AI text to image tools like Midjourney. But again, you could do this for SEO, content creation, etc. And so once it's ready to go ahead and now just simply select generate. And now you can see it's going to go to work right away. Check this out right here, okay? Here's everything right here. Now, again, what we can actually do is I can come in here and copy and paste all of this just like this, okay? This is going to be a prompt template, but this can still work, because watch this. If I now come over here into Claude and I paste it in, even though it's a template, watch. It's basically going to say, hey, this is a template, just give me a subject and now I'll do it. And that's exactly what it's doing. Look, it's saying, I'd be happy to help you, but look, However, it seems that there's no specific image description, okay? It just gave me these placeholders. So here's exactly what we're gonna do. We can do one of two things. Now, based off the prompt that it gave us, I can come in here and just change it up like this. I would actually put my subject right here in these curly brackets. You wanna keep these two right here, okay? Because this is gonna allow the AI to know that this is exactly what you're looking for. And you would just put in your brief subject. So a supercar, a photorealistic shot of a scenic beach, anything like that, okay? But you can either do it there, or you can just stay in Claude or ChatGPT and now just paste it in and now just tell it the specific style and image. And I'll just say this time down here at the bottom, Vogue magazine photo shoot for a luxury model editorial style. And now it's gonna do just that. Here's another chat I did a little bit earlier today where I used the same exact method. It did the same thing where it gave me everything. And down here, it said the same thing. This one I said something similar, beautiful woman, Vogue magazine photo shoot. And on the right-hand side, it gave me this full prompt. And look at these amazing images I got with this specific prompt. These all turned out incredibly well, okay? So that was one from earlier. Let's go back to what Claude just did for us right now using Anthropic. Now, look at this. Very, very long prompt right here. Again, it's gonna do a pretty good job. If I go ahead and copy it, let's generate an image right now. Come back into free pick. I have the whole entire thing. Let's go ahead and now generate this one. Now, if I go back over here in the Claude, I can also tell it to refine it and also make this a lot shorter. But remember, doing this in this console is going to help so much because utilizing Anthropic, not only will you get the actual prompts, but you can reuse this over and over again. It's basically a brand new prompt generator that you can use over and over again. Now watch this. If I exit out of here and I start the process over again, look at this. And now this time, going away from images, I'll say, I need a prompt that will generate SEO-friendly blog posts for the category AI, okay? Now this time I'll select this box down here where it says it's gonna use models that have thinking enabled. Let's go ahead and generate this one. Now again, remember, we're gonna get first a prompt template that we can use, and then we can replace our own subject, or we can go ahead and include specific subjects right in here. But look at this. Beautifully done, where I'm gonna get all this amazing information in the form of a prompt. So the Anthropic console really does do a phenomenal job. Let's go to free pick, and wow, look at the images that we just got. I will definitely say these are definitely going to be Vogue magazine editorial style quality. Okay, now moving on. Let me show you another method, and this one is going to be probably, in my opinion, one of the best. Now, a lot of people do use this method, but once you can really nail it down, it's going to do a phenomenal job. Okay, so here it is right here. Now, in this one specifically, you're going to be able to see it's going to use a few different things. Here's another example where we're going to have a hashtag context, hashtag goal, information about me, and then formatting response. That's one example that we can use. Now, in my prompts generators database right here, I also have a section called prompt guides and tips, where these will also include a ton of different templates like you see right here, all with those different hashtags. So you may be asking yourself, what exactly does all of this mean? Okay, now very quickly, check it out. Tips. Use delimiters for clarity, like triple quotation marks, XML tags, or section titles to clearly indicate distinct parts of the input. This will help the model interpret different sections appropriately. So for an example, okay, hashtag context. That's going to adopt the role that you provided. Hashtag goal, what do you want to achieve? Hashtag information about me, and then hashtag output format with this format. Now, if that doesn't make sense, let me basically just show you with this example I just created. Context, right here. You are ChatGPT, an AI expert in creating prompts that generate insanely realistic AI images. Specialization, prompts to generate images in Midjourney. Now, I like to provide it with the tools because that way it knows I'm using an AI tool like Midjourney. Here is going to be my audience, okay? Professional photographers. Here's my ultimate goal. Basically, create prompts that will generate insanely realistic images. And then here are my specific characteristics. Here is what my responses need to be. High quality cameras and lenses. Include descriptions, adjectives that will achieve professional photography images, and now info about me, instructions now. Generate 5 prompts that will create insanely realistic AI images. Now, when I used this exact prompt, I did this now using DeepSeek. Check this out right here. Here's the link to my DeepSeek chat I did earlier today. Okay, so you can see it right here. Here's the full prompt, the one that we just read together with my goal and everything else. Information about me, 5 prompts. Okay, now it said right away, what's your subject? And I said just that. And now just like that, look, I'm gonna get all of these amazing prompts. So it worked quite well in DeepSeek. Now, just to show you how good this can do in real time, let's go ahead and copy this again, just like this. And now this time, I'll actually put this into ChatGPT. Okay, now with ChatGPT opened up, here it is, pretty long. Now again, 5 insanely realistic images. Once these are all done, I'll go ahead and copy and paste them into AI generating tools, and then we'll see how good everything turned out. But first, back over in the ChatGPT, and let me just show you how amazing this prompt did. Now again, not only are we gonna get the prompts, we're gonna get perhaps the most important thing of this whole method, okay? We're gonna get these settings that we can use over and over again. So for an example, don't just come in here and copy and paste each prompt, okay? Now, do it because that way you can really test out the quality of realism, but also do this. Take any of these cameras, take any of these settings, the lighting, the poses, okay? For an example, this one right here, go ahead and copy this specific camera like this. If I do just that, I bet I don't have this in my unique keywords database. So if I come in here and I open up my unique keywords database, on the right-hand side, I don't even have this yet. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is add this as part of my keyword repertoire because I want to use this moving forward. Let's go ahead and generate 4 of these, okay? Now, while these are thinking, let me show you the third method. It's gonna follow a very similar principle. We're gonna have context. Now up here we use different hashtags, but now this time we're going to use context, and in between each context we're going to basically tell the AI starting context, and now here's my context, okay? Then you want to also say context again with the 2 arrows. That way it's telling the AI now it's closed, okay? So you're going to provide it in this type of form, and then you're going to go to an example. So we're going to have, here's my main context, close it up by saying context again. Now the next thing, examples. So we're going to have the arrow, example, arrow. Now I'm going to provide you with examples of prompts I want you to emulate. So again, here's my context. Please analyze an image I'm about to upload to ChatGPT. If you're not going to upload an image, you can just say, please analyze this prompt and the key characteristics and aesthetics. Now, based off of that information as far as the context, let me go ahead and be helpful and just simply give you some example prompts. Basically prompts that have done a good job for me before. And I did just that. I went ahead and gave all these examples. After my examples are complete, go ahead and now close it out by now adding this. And now let's go ahead and provide the instruction. Again, instruction, generate 5 prompts. Here are a few details. Close the instruction right here. That's another method that you can use, and it's going to provide good prompts as well. So again, let me go ahead and copy this one, and I'll show you exactly how this works. Back in the ChatGPT, I'll go ahead and paste this whole entire thing in. Now remember, this one specifically said I'm utilizing an image, so I'll need to go ahead and upload an image first. So let's go ahead and do just that. This is an incredibly realistic image right here. There it is. Now let's go ahead and generate this one, okay? Here it is. Oh, it's gonna say, what is your subject? I'll just say Vogue magazine fashion model. Now I didn't specify man or woman because at this point it really doesn't matter. I just wanna see how good of a job that this can actually do. And look, it's given me everything I wanted. More prompts, more amazing keywords and phrases that I can use. Now, speaking of which, let's go back to free pick. Look at the ones that we got. Wow. Now remember, that last prompt I just pasted in was specifically for black and white. Amazing job on this one. Now, last but not least, there's going to be one more little method to show you, okay? We're going to have role, context, steps, example. Very easy. Here's the role. Stock market strategist, specifically for investing in dividend stocks. Here's my context. Here are the steps, okay? So this is what I want you to do. Let me show you how this really works. So for an example, list each stock and provide a brief overview, provide the pros and cons, propose a healthy diversification, structure a plan, and provide examples of the snowball effect. So for an example, let's go ahead and now do it this way. Here's everything right here. Copy it. Now remember, since we're using the hashtag method, I don't have to close the prompt up by adding context and then context at the conclusion. Since I'm using the hashtag method right here, I'm just going to say hashtag role, hashtag context, and now the steps, okay? Let's go ahead and copy this one in. This is gonna be specifically for generational wealth, stock building. Now, let's see what this can give us. But while that's waiting, now back to free pick, and wow, look at these images we just got in free pick from that last prompt. Amazing job. Back over here in the ChatGPT, now look at this. It gave me everything. Look at that. I get all of the actual stocks, Altria Group, the pros and cons. Let's keep scrolling, more and more high yield dividend stocks. And now down here at the very end, it's gonna give me my diversification strategy. So these prompt methods really do work quite well. But if you did like this video, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for watching.